human affairs. I feel basically nobody wants problem, but a lot of problems there. These problems, many of these problems, actually, human beings are self-created. So that, how it happened? One way, nobody wants a problem. But at the same time, a lot of problems, our own creation. Why? Our effort become, many cases, our effort carried our emotions without knowing the reality. So our effort become unrealistic approach. So unrealistic approach will not bring satisfactory result. So because, why unrealistic sort of approach is happen? Because of our perception, much based on appearances, not the reality. So many problems we are facing today, I think including ecology problem. There is new reality, but it usually not appear unless you study very carefully. So there is gap between the reality and appearances. So it is very, very important to carry thorough research about the reality. In order to carry your research scientific, in order to become your research scientific, your mind must be open, neutral. Not like some of the parties or research work, the first one goal, the party power or something, then carry research. It's very way become biased. You can't find. So like a genuine scientist, their mind completely open. So even Buddhist practitioner, when we carry investigation, we don't rely on Buddha's own word. We must be open, then carry investigation, very objective. So one thing Shabbins took, what's the great sort of slogan, right? Seeking fact. Seeking truth from fact. It's wonderful. So fact must be genuine fact. So now, I always is telling, whenever I have the opportunity with talk with students or young people, the older generation, I think including myself, older generations sort of way of thinking, you see, still old thinking. Today's reality, much change. But our perception, still the old way of thinking. So it automatically creates gap. So the new generation, like you, now it is your responsibility is to carry thorough study, investigate about the reality. And then we must carry our act according to new reality. I think in some extent, like the European Union, the spirit of European Union, I think under the leadership of de Gaulle and the Adenauer, just after the Second World War, so their thinking is broad, Broadway, and the individual nation, their sovereignty, not that much important. Important is common interest. One of my, I consider tutor, my teacher about quantum physics, one German professor, very well known, very respected Professor von Weizsäcker. His younger brother, von Weizsäcker, one time German president. Now he, I think, still alive. My teacher, von Weizsäcker, now no longer with us. But one time he told me, when he was young, in German eye, every French is their enemy. So in French eye as well. Then he says, nowadays, that's about, I think, late 80s or early 90s, and he mentioned, nowadays, that kind of perception, that kind of attitude or perception completely changed. Now between German, French, just sort of also neighbors, brothers, sisters. Because common interest now becomes very reality, very real. Like that. So the concept of European Union start establish. In India, one great half saint, half politician, the Bhimnu Babaji, I think in early 50s, he predicted, he expressed concept of ABC. A means Afghanistan, B, Burma, C, then called Ceylon, Sri Lanka, then India, Pakistan, all sort of united, some kind of federation. That's his vision. If that vision materializes, I think Afghanistan, Pakistan, has a much stable. Like that. India, among these sort of countries, India is the biggest, most populous nation. So India, look, last 60, more than now nearly 70 years, very stable. Because there is freedom, democracy, rule of law. So therefore, we must act according to reality. That's very important. So now Tibet issue, Tibet case. Now I think firstly, I think people from China as a whole, the most populated nation on this earth, and with a long history, cultured people. I usually telling you, my Chinese friend, Chinese hardworking, and realistic. So reason wherever they live is eventually they create Chinatown because they are hardworking. Meantime, they easily adapt the new situation, but meantime keep their culture. So the Chinatown develop. Sometimes I tell you, my one Indian friend there, one Punjabi. So now Indian also should create India town. You have very rich cultural heritage. So wherever Indian community, you must develop India town. So like that, or Japanese town, or Korean town. I said, what? Particularly like America, multicultural people, a lot of Spanish speaking, a lot of sort of European different languages of speaking. There are a lot of Polish. So wonderful. So in any way, that biggest populated nation now already carrying some important sort of role on this planet. However, unfortunately, so far, you see, People's Republic of China